What's going on, Soul Nation? Ginger Prime here, and with the latest update about to roll out for New World, which is adding in a ton of quality of life features, I feel like those features don't go far enough. And so today I want to talk to you about what New World should be able to beg, borrow, be inspired by, or just flat out steal from other MMOs, namely Final Fantasy XIV and Guild Wars 2. If you guys have another MMO that I'm not listing in this video and you want me to explore those ideas, list them in the comments below. Be sure to hit that like button so we can get this video to 100 trillion likes, he says sarcastically, and let's go ahead and have some fun with this video itself. Now, first and foremost, if you guys have not seen, in New World, they're adding in a party finder. Now, in my mind, when I hear party finder, I go right into the world of Final Fantasy XIV. I think Final Fantasy XIV has the premier party finder. If you guys haven't seen Final Fantasy XIV's party finder, just as a summary, it allows you to list what you want to do. You can actually kick this off from going into the content, or you can just make up a straight up listing right out of the blue, and it gives you tons of options. Do you want to do dungeons, raids, trials, XYZ, maps, and more? And you can list this, and the nice thing about this party finder system is it's cross-world, so anybody on your data center is going to see the content that you are looking for, and they can join in, and it just handles it. It just makes it real easy to jump in with your friends. What's really important about this aspect is that it makes it easy to play with your friends, and I think that's one of the key aspects that New World will hopefully start to explore. The devs have already said that that's the direction they're going, and based off of the notes from this party finder in New World, it does sound like it's going in that direction here at some point in the near future, but we don't have an ETA just yet. But the party finder in 14 didn't launch with cross-world either, so that's going to be kind of a, it just is going to take a little bit of time. But if you see with the New World Party Finder versus the Final Fantasy XIV Party Finder, you can see there's a clear difference in terms of the features that it offers. One is just being able to put a password on the Party Finder. As a streamer and a content creator, like that actually is a big ask for me. So that way, if you're in the stream and you want to join in, then you can have the password and it's easy to jump in. But right now in New World, there's no password. So we definitely need to see that added in. The other thing is that New World currently only has it focusing in on their quote unquote expeditions, aka dungeons. And since they've removed keys, this is going to make it much easier to use. But I think they need to go further. I think they need to take a page from Final Fantasy's book and allow you to list whatever activities you're doing, whether it's doing open world content or other instance content like PvP in the game itself. I think that will actually help expand it. Now, the other thing that I would love to see is that if you guys don't know, you have to actually go click on the dungeon on the map to be able to see the listings. They just need a global listing and then the ability to filter it down so that you can only find the things that you want, as opposed to sitting here and have to kind of look around the map and hope that somebody might be wanting to do that content. Now, I think that's a nice quality of life feature. If you guys haven't seen the Final Fantasy XIV Party Finder, this is essentially a feedback dev video for the devs as well. So that's hopefully going to be useful for them. But I want to shift into story delivery. Now, what's interesting is that I think Final Fantasy XIV delivers the story in a beautiful way, but I think it's also an expensive way to do so. Like if you take Guild Wars 2 story delivery system, they deliver story, but they don't do a lot of animated cutscenes that happen in engine, meaning you don't have to have a lot of work being spent on those cutscenes themselves. I think 14 takes that to the pinnacle level, the highest level possible. Now, I think what New World has done, if you guys haven't seen, at the end of the Tempest Heart expedition, when you finally defeat Isabella, well, you get a beautifully animated cutscene. Now, it's very animated, and I think that maybe that would be something I would like to see New World explore. But taking that page from Final Fantasy XIV, delivering a story in a comprehensive way that people can understand it, that gives a lot of room to be excited about the game for the future. So I do wonder if we'll see them in New World step it back from what they delivered in the Tempest Heart. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see with that regards. But I think story delivery and Party Finder would be some of the real key aspects that I would like to see them take from Final Fantasy XIV. Now, if I missed anything, if there's something that you want to see in the world of Final Fantasy XIV brought into New World, sound off below. Let me know, because I'm just kind of thinking about what's on the current horizon. I'm sure this could be a bigger, broader video if it had to be just on 14 alone. But I want to shift into Guild Wars 2 for a little bit, because I kind of mentioned them as a part of the story delivery aspect, because there's all kinds of ways that you could go about doing this. Now, the first thing I'm going to start with, because I think everything else builds on after it, is post level 60 progression. Now, New World has a level cap of level 60. Guild Wars 2 has a level cap of 80. But what Guild Wars 2 offers is a progression system that happens at level cap. And that's a part of the mastery system itself. Now, I don't know if they want to go one-to-one with this. Personally speaking, I think New World has a decent endgame progression system. I think that there's definitely discussion and talks that it could be improved upon, and I'm all about having those absolute talks for sure. But beyond that aspect is that at level 60, XP becomes useless, but in Guild Wars 2, it doesn't. In fact, this is the same feedback I'd have in 14. I'd love for some level cap post XP progression where XP has some driving value, and it doesn't have to drive value into combat. You'll see, like within Guild Wars, you could focus it on various different traversal methods. In fact, this then ties into bonus experience. Like, I would love to see within the world, when you're running around killing an open world mob, you get a bonus experience for whenever that mob dies based off of how long it's been spawned in the world. What's ironic about this feedback request for a PvE side of things is that they do that actually for PvP. The longer you've been alive and flagged for PvP, the more bonus experience that you will give you. But without any level 60 post XP progression, it's a system that's often easily forgotten because it doesn't matter anymore, because XP doesn't have that value, that driving value for you. So bringing those two in together, I think, would be massively huge for the game. I think New World could easily just deliver like a kind of a gypsum, that kind of expertise based off of leveling. You could even apply this to the weapons themselves. Once you level up a weapon to level 20, it's at its theoretical cap. It would be really cool to see that continue to go into a post-progression leveling method, which could be a lot of fun and add a lot of things. Like, if you really enjoy your build, imagine just continuing to get better and better the more that you played your build, as opposed to like, well, that's it, there's nothing more for you to do on that weapon if you don't end up liking it, or if you do end up liking it, one way or the other. But it's interesting that in New World it exists in PvP. I want them to bring that in PvE, and it's a beautiful thing when it happens in Guild Wars 2. That bonus experience popping off makes you feel really good. It's exciting to see, and it makes also going out into the open world a valuable proposition. Who hasn't been farming in what areas? Like, this could end up making certain areas that aren't often visited of value for you as a player to go back into and kind of see what, and find whatever open world bosses might be not be farmed at the moment itself. And this ties into kind of the last little piece for this video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it so far. Mounts. I see this happening over on Ginger World Gaming. If you guys don't know, I have my Focus New World channel. I talk about New World, the news, guides, and more in a focused way. In fact, actually, YouTube really loves that. They really like that one game per channel aspect for some reason right now. So if you guys check out that channel, thanks. I hope you do. But mounts, like over in the comments, mounts, are mounts coming? When are mounts coming? And personally speaking, I don't want them just to add mounts. Like, I don't want them to just be some kind of collection mini game that they add that doesn't really add a lot to the world. I think Guild Wars has the best mount system in any MMO RPG that I've personally played. Now, I haven't played them all. Maybe go check out Josh Strife as he works his way through every MMO in history, if you're interested in that. But I think essentially when I look at the mount system, I think Guild Wars 2 by far has it in terms of its feel and its movement and how the mounts actually add traversal to the world. And I think that would be something really interesting. Obviously, the question about open world PvP and mounts, that would be a subject of massive debate within the community itself that we'd obviously have to take some time and explore. But I think that's going to be something that if they do add mounts, I want to make sure that there is a mount system, that there is a cohesive system. In fact, I know a lot of people get frustrated, but I think when you look at how the game functions, I would love to see there an economic system so that by having mounts and doing various things with those, that there is an economy that is built up around those, so crafters and gatherers could also take part, and that there's a value driven aspect. Personally speaking, outside of like individualized mounts themselves, like having some kind of caravan system going from town to town, I think would be really cool. Some kind of live event that happens that you have to protect the caravan in and of itself, or you could actually just ride along in the caravan to kind of have the game travel you from place to place. Now, why they have made teleport costs basically free in the game right now, I think we'll have, I do expect that system to change in the future to maybe go into kind of a coin, kind of like basically where you see within actually Final Fantasy and Guild Wars, how they've shifted, and it's all going to be coin-based. We'll have to wait and see on any announcements of that with New World, but the Azoth travel system has been like basically just said, hey, here's 5 to 10, maybe a maximum of 20 to teleport anywhere in the game. So you're never running out of that. And so I think that's going to be something we'll have to see them shift to and evolve to in the future itself. But anyway, if there is anything you want to see, like I know I didn't talk about ESO. I'm not an ESO player. I do have a character on Xbox, and I always said that like I would like to play it on PC. I still would love to take my character if they had some form of like even if it wasn't cross play, some form of cross progression on the PC version, I'd be more apt to do so. But if you guys have any thoughts or any feedback regarding other MMOs that you're actively enjoying and that you'd like to see kind of infused into New World, some of whatever feature, sound off below. I'd love to explore that maybe in a future video with you guys here on the channel. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for your time today. I hope you have a great one. I hope I see you in my next video, but until then, take care.
Yeah. It's time to chill out on the couch and read some comments. That's right. You know me when it comes to Destiny. I'm off with a clan, and I'm glad you're feeling better. Oh yeah.